And welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. Where are we right now? We are live. We're live, guys, and we are doing this for probably the second or third time going live. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel on YouTube, the podcast guys on YouTube. We are putting so much effort into bringing you this product, this content. As you can see, all the good old wires here and the computer and all these things that we had to put together for you guys. So support us, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's one of the few things that you can do to help us out. The other thing is to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble, the podcast guys _. We're also on X, the podcast guys 5. We're on Spotify, the podcast guys. And also check out our Facebook. We're on there too. So let's get into some topics that we want to run with this live that we're doing right now. So what's one of the questions that we should touch base on, or one of the topics we should touch on?
Yeah, so let's start it off with this. Why do you think women are having such a hard time finding a good man? We've had quite a few female guests on so far. Shout out to them, by the way. We appreciate you.
Yeah, shout out to the ladies. And, of course, we've had Zara on a handful of times, so shout out to him, too.
Why do you think women are having such a hard time finding a good man? You always hear that, like, oh, I just want a good man. And as women get older, you could kind of see, like, how the narrative kind of changes, because they know themselves. It's no longer about excitement and having fun. We've had a few female guests that are in their 30s, and they told us themselves that they're kind of over, going out and that whole lifestyle. But it seems like they're having a hard time finding a man, and it's not that they're not attractive enough. Yeah, they're a little bit on the older age of the scale, but it's not the attractiveness. What do you think it is that's causing them from finding a quote unquote good man?
I think it varies between age. So if you look at the 20, 21 to 25, 26-year-olds, they're out having a good time. They're out doing their thing. They're partying. They're traveling. They're exploring. They're trying to find themselves, if you want to call it that. Find themselves. What do you mean by find themselves? They're sleeping around. They're dating around. They are going out with many guys and trying out different things. So that's something that's going to hold, women back from finding a good man. And because that's the question that you asked, right? Why are women having a tough time finding?
Yeah, because nowadays it's I would say it's pretty common. Obviously, it's common for men to be single, but I really want to know, why is it that so many women are single? And I'll tell you, when women say they want a good man, I think they're not telling us the rest of the story. It's just another example of how women say one thing and do another. I do believe that women want a quote unquote good man. But I feel that what they're leaving out, what they're not telling you, is that the guy has to have certain other traits first, right? They don't want just any good man, because there's plenty of good men, plenty of good guys out there. I find it hard to believe that they can't quote unquote find one. They want a guy that turns them on first. They want a guy that they're attracted to. They have to be, and I've heard many women say this over through our guests and even in person. They need to be emotionally stimulated, right? The guy has to turn them on. They have to be attracted to that guy first before the good guy thing even comes into play. So I think what's happening is, as women get older, they're put into kind of like between a rock and a hard place, because they have to eventually leave behind all the perks of being single: unlimited attention, the freedom to do whatever they want, no rules, for absolute freedom, right? But at the same time, women know their bodies better than anyone else. They know that they have a biological clock. They know time's ticking, and eventually they have to have a child. They have to have a kid.
Well, that brings us to the women, I would say 27 to 30-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're at that point when they're not at that stage, say the whole stage, right? Where they're sleeping around, doing all these crazy things with guys and trying to find themselves. They're doing it a little less. They're trying to figure out, okay, well, should I settle down? Should I keep going out, partying, dating, all these things. Should I get married? Right? Should I try to find a guy to get married or settle in for a serious relationship? So those women at that age, they start kind of figuring out, well, should I keep doing what I'm doing or should I settle down? The problem is that a lot of those women aren't settling down. Now we go to, I guess, 30 to 35-year-olds, 36-year-olds. Those are the ladies that are either really serious relationships or they're married or they're just free for all. They're just dating, going out, not a care in the world, still doing what they did when they were in their 20s, when they were just at their, I guess, whole face at that point. So it goes to show that it doesn't really matter what age women are. It's only figuring out when they mature and when they actually say and do and they match. So like they say what they're going to do and they do it. So if they say they're going to get into a relationship, they get into a relationship, they settle down, they get married, they have kids, family, and whatnot. But the thing is that that's happening less and less because it seems like women want to hold on tight to their freedom. They don't want to let it go. I think the freedom is some escape from their daily routine. You know, these ladies are career women. They want to be independent women. They want to do whatever they want. So aside from doing all that, they want to be able to still enjoy themselves and be free of the responsibility of having a family and kids and being a wife, that sort of thing.
You know how I know, like the social proof of like why I say I don't even believe women want a good man is because when you look at any scenario where, and this could be true for both dating and marriage, when a woman leaves a guy, it's usually not a bad boy that she's leaving, right? It's usually not the guy that's doing whatever he wants, treats her like shit, cheats on her. That's not usually the guy she leaves. 9 times out of 10, she leaves the good guy. Okay, and that's why I'll always preach, like, don't listen to what women say, watch what they do, because that'll tell you the truth. Women could say whatever they want. They want a good man, emotional intelligence. That's another one I hear all the time, emotional intelligence. If you were to look at her dating history, you would find that a lot of, if not all of the guys she dated or slept with in the past were not emotionally intelligent. I think the whole emotional intelligence thing is just like a side effect of trauma from previous, hectic relationships where now they sit down and they say, I want a guy that's emotionally intelligent. But that's not really what they're attracted to. That's not what turns them on.
I think the thing is that they don't know what their own emotions are. They can't even get a grip on their own emotions. So for them to figure out, what another man feels about them or his emotions is kind of not going to help the situation. So I think it's best for women to sit down, reevaluate themselves if they really, truly want a serious relationship and look in the mirror and tell themselves, hey, well, I have to do A, B, C, D, E to be able to have a serious relationship, to be able to get that guy to commit to me, to get the guy to commit to a serious long-term relationship and eventually marriage. But a lot of women aren't coming to terms with that. They are just saying, okay, I'm going to work, be this independent woman, be this career woman, make as much money as possible. And then they find themselves in an empty house or apartment and they end up just continuing to do what they did in their 20s.
What you said before, how like women have a hard time kind of letting go of the single life and the freedom that comes along with it. I think that's a majority of, the main reason why so many women are single. I don't believe it's that they can't find a good man or they can't find a man that's going to pay the rent or be a good father or a good boyfriend. That's not the real reason. There's plenty of guys with the amount of options that women have nowadays. You cannot tell me that it's a matter of them not being able to find, because they have unlimited options. If you take into consideration social media, dating apps, guys that hit on them in person, women socialize, I would say, tenfold, if not more, than on a daily basis. They socialize and have more opportunities than men will have probably in a lifetime.
I mean, I think their mind is all cloudy with not knowing what to do because they have all the options. It's not what it used to be where you had one or two options and it was easy. It was easy pickings. But now they have unlimited options. You have guys texting them. You have guys, I wouldn't say calling as much because guys don't really call anymore. It's not like what it used to be. Or even women don't even want guys calling them much anymore. It's social media apps, Instagram, it's the DM, it's a dating app, it's texting. It's kind of not that face-to-face direct interaction until they actually meet up. So I think with all that happening, it's scary, right? It's scary to meet them, after texting, after messaging on social media. Maybe for the guy, maybe for the woman, maybe for both. Maybe they don't want the commitment, but I think ladies want the freedom. They want to be free. And, if there's a good guy involved, they don't want that. They find it boring. They want the bad boy. They want spontaneity. So there's so many things to juggle. I think women are frustrated for sure. They want to definitely settle down. But at the same time, they want to live life. Their mind is clouded. Their mind is really drained with, I would say, engulfed with all these options, all these things to do in life. I mean, travel. Women they want to travel. They want to go out to nice places. They want to go out and eat in nice places. So it's hard to tell when women will settle down. There's many women that won't even settle down. They're okay with staying the way they are.
If you really think about it, attractive women don't even need a boyfriend or a relationship or a marriage, if you think about it. Because if you're an attractive woman, whether you're 20, 25, 35, 40, 45, chances are, with the way things are nowadays, you are going to get your needs met one way or another. Let's be real. Women don't have a shortage of guys to sleep with. They could get that. They could snap their fingers and somebody will be there 30 minutes later.
Easily.
There's always going to be somebody that's willing to talk to them. There's always going to be somebody that's willing to spend time with them. There's always going to be somebody willing to send them money or pay for something, rent, car payment, trip. They no longer really need it. Them being single is a new relationship because now they have the advantage of getting sources from multiple guys. By them getting into a relationship, it almost is settling because now they're saying, well, you mean to tell me I have to give up all of this for one guy and I have to cater to him? And that's the reality. And that's the case for most attractive women. Obviously, not every single woman is going to have those perks, but I would say if you're attractive in 2025, let's be real, that's what's happening.
Of course. Even, again, ladies that are at, I guess, on a scale of 1 to 10, the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s, they expect to be wined and dined and do all these activities, and they're reaching for the best guys out there too. So imagine that, and imagine the 8s and 9s of women.
It's funny we're having this conversation because just the other day I was scrolling through Instagram and there's this one girl that I follow that's on a scale of 1 to 10. She's probably a 4 or a 5. She's ugly. She's a little bit overweight, and she's another one of these girls that travels a lot and has quote unquote high standards.
How dare you!
And she'll post these like little memes about how like if you ain't got no money, don't even talk to that type of attitude, that entitled attitude. And I watched it. I'm like, damn man, like even the ugly girls have that self-entitled like, you better take care of me financially or don't even don't even talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even look my way. That's how women feel when they are narcissistic. They're entitled. They think that men should look their way. But, I mean, they have options, yes. But do those options want to give them the relationship? Those options are men that just want to hang out with them to eventually sleep with them. So women need to really evaluate what they're doing, putting themselves out there, and exactly how to go about attracting the right man, because most of them aren't.
I really believe that it's gotten to that point, and it makes sense why all these women keep saying, I don't want to settle. I'm not settling. I don't want to settle. I understand why, because like I just said a moment earlier, they're already getting what they need anyway. So in their eyes, they're like, well, if I'm supposed to quote unquote settle, it better be with a man that's capable of giving me all that, the attention, the resources, the money, the lifestyle, so on and so forth. When women say like, oh, well, I could provide this for myself, I don't need a man. That is, again, she is not telling you the full story. She can provide that to herself with the help of all the men that are helping her.
Of course, they hide that. They love to hide that.
We all have women on our social media that constantly post traveling, right? And they don't travel. They're not staying at the comfort suites, right? They're staying at like 5-star resorts. They're going to Greece, Dubai, Miami, LA, Vegas. They're traveling, Italy. They're not staying at $99 a night hotels. They're staying in nice places. You could tell it's an expensive trip.
And who's paying for that?
Who's paying for it? She's paying for it?
Doubt it.
Unless she has like an OnlyFans, like a successful OnlyFans page, she's not paying for it. I don't believe it.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, she can be out there making money, sure. But is she the one paying for those dinners and the trips? No, there's a guy hidden behind the scenes. There's that probably sugar daddy, paying for everything and not getting much from it, right? He's simping. The guys that are simping and giving out their resources, time, energy, money to be able to please this woman. Meanwhile, they're not getting pleased. It's a lose-lose situation for the guy, if you ask me.
Since we're on the topic, let's get into this, because now there's this kind of debate about passport bros. Some people agree with it. Some people disagree with it. And I'm even seeing men disagree with it. Like, oh, you should just have game and know how to pick up women here. If you're a passport bro, then that means you have no game, and so on and so forth. I get that part of it. I do agree that, like, okay, yeah, if you're going to other countries to just like easily sleep with women, I get it, but you can't really blame guys for doing it. I mean, in the U.S. at least, the cards are not in your favor. I don't care how good your game is. There's always going to be somebody that can outdo you, outperform you, have more money, a better job, more attractive. The list goes on and on. You can't really blame it. The reason men are flying to other countries in hordes, it's not like a couple hundred or a couple thousand men are doing it. Men are traveling to other countries in hordes. One of my friends is going to Thailand this month, actually, come to think of it. He's going for 2 weeks. For why do you think he's going there, right? He's not going there to see the he's not going there for the beach, So you can't blame men for doing it, because it's gotten so difficult here that most men are kind of backing away from it. I'm not saying guys should give up and like not try, but you can't blame men for saying, you know what, screw this. I'm going to hop on a plane and go to Thailand or the Philippines or anywhere else for that matter. Europe, who cares? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think the passport bros are going to continue being a thing. Guys are still going to, go out to different countries, Thailand, Philippines, Colombia, you name it. And they're going to try to find their way with women out there. Will, they be successful? Sure, I'm sure some of them will. I'm sure some of them won't. But they know that they're not going to be successful here. They know that the opportunities with women have dried up here. They can't even get the time of day with women. So they're like, okay, well, why not I go to another country and explore my options and see if there's a woman out there that will give me the attention that I'm not getting here, will give me the opportunities to take her out, and then she reciprocates in kind. And maybe it ends up being a sleepover and a great night together. Who knows?
And look, let's not forget, I know the saying, passport bros is we're referring to men that travel to other countries to hook up with women, right? Let's not forget, women are doing the same thing just for a different reason. this whole idea of going to another country or relocating for better opportunities, women have been doing this for decades. Why do you think they go to like Dubai or Greece? You think they're going there just to like take pictures? I know women personally that went to Greece and they go to these places like Scorpios, these like clubs where it's just like the richest guys and they're good looking, they have beards, and they're going there for that experience because they're not getting it from where they're from. Okay? So this idea of going somewhere else, men get bashed for it because it looks like, oh, they're failing here, so the easier way out is to go there. Correct. When things aren't working into your favor, you go somewhere else. You try something different. What are we supposed to do? Stay here and deal with these basket cases?
Yeah, men can't just sit here and give up. I mean, they have to try. I'm sure the guys are trying here, but they're also going to go to other countries where women play their feminine role and really are giving men a chance to be like, hey, I'm a lady. I'm going to let you be the man, be in your masculine frame. I'm going to let you do your thing, wine and dine me. Let me play my role and give back to you. How so? Maybe some support. You start dating. Maybe a fresh dinner on the table. Maybe peace. Of course, sexual exclusivity. So there are all these things that men can get. Of course, men have to have some game. You know, you can't just go and be a weird, nerdy type of guy, introvert, doesn't talk much, shy person here, and do the same thing over there and expect to make progress, because that's not how it works.
Yeah, and that's the part that I agree with. So even when we had Sarv Dating on, he made that statement. He said that, you know, if you're an awkward, socially awkward loser in the U.S., things aren't going to be better for you just because you go to Colombia, right? And I do agree with that. If you're like a really odd, awkward person, you don't know how to communicate, you're socially awkward, people feel uncomfortable around you, that's not going to change just because you go somewhere else, right? If anything, the one route is prostitution, I guess. But if we're talking about like meeting people at bars, clubs, or just in social settings, if you're awkward in the U.S., you're going to be awkward everywhere, and women are going to smell that on you a mile away. So I do agree with that, yeah.
I mean, guys can play it like a natural, and even if they fail, I mean, you have to go out and try. You can fail, but try, and then learn from your mistakes, and then go out and try again. There might be a situation where guys are just not doing it right because guys don't have the way, don't have the quote-unquote game to be able to lock down a woman. So maybe women are just kind of being creeped out. They feel like they're getting harassed, and guys are taken aback by that, and then they give up. They get frustrated. They get upset. They don't feel like they have a chance here. So they take what they think are their talents to another country, which aren't really their talents. It's just a whole mess that they're doing here, and they created themselves, and they're taking it somewhere else, expecting to have a better result. But you have to really focus on what you're doing wrong, where you screwed up, fix that, so you can get women here. Because, yes, there are good women here. There are opportunities here for men. They just don't realize that. I think they think that they make all these mistakes and they screw up, and they just can't make it happen here, and then they go somewhere else and they expect a different result. It's like the definition of insanity, doing it over and over again, expecting a different result. I mean, you do it here, you do it there, it don't matter. If you fucked up here, you're going to fuck up over there. So you got to figure out where you're going wrong, fix it, and then try here. And then maybe if you want to go and expand your horizons into other countries, then do so. And maybe you'll land, a nice Colombian lady or a beautiful woman from Thailand. So you never know. But I think men have to figure out where they're screwing up, because if they're fucking up here, they're going to fuck up somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a mistake that we make as men sometimes is like, look, you have to be able to decipher and ask yourself, is this woman in front of me for recreational fun purposes only, one night stand, so on and so forth, or is this like a relationship? I should pursue this woman. That's two different types of women. You can't pursue the bimbo type and expect something to turn out of that. It's just you're not going to change her. Like that's saying that she doesn't want to be saved by I forget his name.
The bimbo is to have fun if you can have fun with the bimbo.
That's it. And I don't like when men are bashed for traveling and hooking up with women because look, if guys do that for fun, you're just going there to hook up. All the power to you. I don't think men should be bashed for that. If you're going there to look for a wife, I think it's a little crazy. Like, so I've heard men say like, "Oh, if I don't get married here, I'm going to find a wife in the Philippines." You can't bring women to the U.S. and expect things to work out because the moment she becomes westernized and Americanized, she's going to turn into one of these. It's just a matter of time. Give it a year, 2, 3. When she learns the American ways, she's going to end up just like the rest of them. So,
of course, they all do. I've met ladies from Colombia. I've met ladies from Poland, from Italy. They come to America and they get indoctrinated in the culture that we have here. And then they turn into like this different human being. It's like, what the hell happened to you? You were this wonderful feminine lady that came from the country that you came from. And now you turn into even a woman that's even worse than the women that are born here, that are from here, that grew up here. So it's a little scary. You want to be able to have that woman if you can get that type of woman and have her come here and hopefully she keeps that role that she's in and not get too brainwashed by the American style, the Western style here of women just taking advantage of men, taking advantage of their resources, their time, and not giving anything back, and men simping to them and wasting time and wasting money. It's just a whole, lop of garbage that they're dealing with all the way around.
Yeah, and what you said before is totally true. I've seen it myself. Look, my family, my background, we're from Poland, right? I can't tell you how many times I've seen women come here from Poland. They started off feminine. They started off with the right culture, and then the U.S., I think the problem is in the U.S., it's like we don't hold women to a certain standard here. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? It's okay you slept with 100 people? Perfectly fine. In other countries, that would never fly.
Yeah, guys don't hold women to a standard because, like we've heard on other podcasts, and I've even mentioned it before, if a girl is beautiful and she works at McDonald's and guys are like, she's hot, they will date that woman. They don't care because she looks good. She's attractive. But the thing is that's not the whole package at the end of the day. So if you want a serious relationship with this woman, you're not going to date her just because she looks good. What if she is a total bitch towards you? Are you going to want to deal with that? What if she's just taking advantage of you day in and day out? You're doing all these things for her and you're simping. You're not getting anything in return. Well, you got her. You're dating her because you want to, because she's beautiful. And then you're giving all these things, giving, and not getting anything in return back. Doesn't mean that she has to sleep with you every day. That's not what that means. But to have an actual, true relationship, that's something that women should be able to give you if you're giving to her what she wants. It is unfortunately transactional, but what isn't nowadays, right?
Another thing that we're doing wrong in the U.S., and again, this is purely a cultural thing, if you try to hold women to a certain standard, now it's toxic masculinity. God forbid you judge her actions, her past, who she's hanging out with, how many guys she slept with, her behavior, her patterns. God forbid, because the moment you judge her, it's like, oh, who are you to judge? You're a man.
I mean,
that's toxic.
Forget judging her. It's just that she's not going to have anyone take her seriously.
No one's going to take her seriously.
She can think all these things that she wants, but there's no guy in his right mind, just some bum probably, that will take her seriously. Are those bums? The guys that are smart enough to realize, and there's guys day by day that are watching us, that are, watching this other podcast, that are learning and understanding that they shouldn't waste their time with these women that are just screwing them over.
And this is why going back to the passport bros thing, this is the real reason why I think guys are leaving to other countries. It's not just as simple as like, oh well, we're just going to like hook up with the girls. Yeah, of course, that's a part of it. I think that men here just know that like not all, but a lot of women are brainwashed. You have feminists. Guys are painted with a bad light because, we're toxic. We're all narcissists. We all have bad intentions. You have to be so careful with how you interact with women nowadays. Correct me if I'm wrong, so you don't get me too'd. It's screwed. The whole culture here is completely ass backwards, and that's why men have enough and they're going to other countries where the culture's different.
Can you blame the guys? I mean, in going to these other countries and trying with these other women, can you blame them when they have no hope? When you have no hope of something, what do? Right? If somebody's drowning in a pool, what are you going to do? You're going to try to swim out and you're going to try to escape and you're going to try to breathe again because you're desperate for air. There's guys that are desperate. There's guys that are desperate to escape this dating relationship culture that's here in the West, and they're trying to get something good. There's good men out there, and yes, there's good women out there. The only thing is that a lot of them aren't connecting here. It's all in different spots, different places. And men shouldn't give up, and that's why you see passport bros happening, because men are trying to escape and they're trying to find out what all their other options are, what opportunities are out there. And it's affected dating for women in the West negatively because of it. They could say all they want. They can say that they have all these options, but mostly the options they have are for guys to sleep with them.
Another major difference between the U.S. and other countries, and this is again what's driving men to leave the U.S. and hordes to other countries, is because they see these videos that they are treated completely different. Let's be real. In the U.S., men aren't used to being treated good by women by any means. Right? Like, dating and marriage aside, like just on a day-to-day basis, we're not exactly used to like positive, day-to-day treatment from women at all. So you go to other countries and they treat you like a king. You go to Thailand, you go to Philippines, Croatia. There's all different countries. I've even heard you could go to even places like Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's anywhere outside of the U.S. for the most part, as long as you're not in like a rich area or a major city in another country, because this isn't just a U.S. problem. I don't want to paint it like it's like, oh, U.S. is the worst or something like that.
No, there's different parts of the world.
There's different parts of the world where it's exactly the same thing. Poland, if you go to Warsaw, you go to which is like their Manhattan, it's the same thing as over here. If you're not rich, if you're not a businessman, you don't even have a chance. But that's another reason is men are going to other countries because they're just treated better. We've all seen the videos, right? Where some let's face it, like an ugly middle-aged guy goes to some other country. You go to Thailand and he's holding hands, and the girl treats him like he's gold. You know what I'm saying? Does she have certain financial intentions? Probably, but yeah, I'm sure it's a lot easier to satisfy her than some Karen from the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, even the guy may have no game or anything like that, but hey, he picked up a 9.5 in Thailand or in the Philippines or in Colombia or Brazil or Mexico, and she is being feminine. She's being this woman that the guy's never seen in the West. These women don't exist in the West. They only come at you with their looks, and a lot of that is fake too, because women are wearing the makeup and they're putting in hair extensions and the lip injections and the BBLs and the fake boob jobs. So there's all these things that women are putting out there because perception is reality, and guys are buying into it. And then when the first thing a man looks for in women is for their looks, and they get fooled once they get with that woman, then they get disgusted by it. And they try to find women that are natural, more, again, feminine mindset, not fake. So it's troublesome. men are trying, but men are giving up too. And we don't want to see guys give up. You know, here, Rob and I on the podcast, guys, we don't want to see guys give up. This is why we're up this late talking to you guys live, not the live where we put a premiere video with us talking or with the guests. So make sure you guys please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble, the podcast guys _. And we're on Spotify, the podcast guys there as well. So what do you think of Ye, that's formerly known as Kanye West, and his wife? I believe it's his wife. I don't. Maybe his longtime girlfriend, but Bianca Censori going out to the Grammys tonight, pretty much naked. As a guy, would you ever let your woman go out, not even naked, like you can see everything almost, but showing any type of skin out there?
Well, like I just said a moment ago, we in the U.S., it's the wild, wild west. We don't hold women to a certain standard. This was what, the Grammys that this happened at? Because I saw the video.
Yeah.
This was at the Grammys. So they were on the red carpet, and I forget if it's his wife or girlfriend. She basically wore this like fur coat, but she was completely nude underneath. Now, I want you guys to ask yourself, do you think that would fly in Russia? Do you think that would fly in Tokyo, Japan? You get what I'm saying? It's the standard that and this is, again, this all boils down to culture. It's not accepted in other parts of the world. So when things like this happen, we could give our opinions on it, but it doesn't matter because in the U.S. it's just accepted. People will gossip about it regardless because it's they're on a red carpet. It's the Grammys. People gossip all day long. That's just how it goes. But in the U.S. we do not hold women to that standard. It's socially accepted to be. She might as well have just showed up on the red carpet naked altogether. People are desensitized to it.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly they got kicked out, which wasn't true according to TMZ. And they supposedly had the cops called on them, which also wasn't true. So it seems like people don't even care about it anymore. It's just kind of like the norm. You know, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, nothing new. Kind of the Western style now. So as a man, would you feel okay with your woman going out looking like that? Would you accept that?
No, I wouldn't. And especially after his first experience with Kim K. Look, I'm not him. I don't know what's going on through his head. The guy is famous and a little bit on the eccentric side. I guess once you get to that level of like fame and success, like I don't know why they do that stuff. Is it just to kind of like create that spark to get people talking? Do they just like behaving? I don't know. I'm not that much, so it's hard to say. But would I accept it? No, I wouldn't want that at all, regardless of fame or money, because I think you're right. I think he is married there because I saw the video and it said Ye's wife.
Yeah, I don't
know how he would get married again.
I don't know too much about them, but I believe they're married. But I think it's just to bring attention to them. I mean, They are people that are well known, and now that she's going out or relationship, whatever it is, with or married to Ye, she is someone that's going to stir up the pot and bring eyes to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Ye with his music and him just being him.
Mm-hmm.
That's adding to the attention. So, hey, famous people are notorious for going out there and trying to get some sort of attention, get the eyeballs on them. That's probably what was happening. Who knows why, but hey.
Yeah, I think it all comes out to attention, especially like an event like the Grammys. Like, there's always somebody that wears some crazy stuff. Like, I remember Lady Gaga had a bunch of like crazy outfits where she had like a bunch of cigarettes glued to her head one year. What's the guy that wore like a whole dragon thing with like a leather. They all wear crazy
I
stuff.
don't know.
I forget his name, but
I'm glad I don't know.
yeah. That's why
Because
honestly
that's-
I don't even watch the Grammys or any of that stuff anymore. 'Cause it's all a bunch of whack jobs. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seeing that again, just for that specific situation, I would never accept my woman going out and being even 25%, showing any of that. I don't even think 10%. So it's something that men just have to really tell their woman, hey, you're not going to go out like that. Or if you go out like that, then you're disrespecting me. And if they still go out like that, then they come back to no more relationship. That's what I think. That's what it should be.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, regardless of like whether you're a regular guy or you're famous, like Yee, I wouldn't want my woman showing up naked with a fur coat on. And like obviously, you got paparazzi. You know those pictures are going to be posted everywhere. The videos are going to be posted everywhere. People are going to be talking about it. So, like to your point, it probably just is something they do for publicity to get more eyes on them. I don't see any other reason for it.
Okay. And then to take it to now, because a woman like that and Yee, she definitely had some high standards. Got a guy that's high status, that's rich. What can we say that women are looking for from a man overall?
What women want?
What do women want from a man overall? But let's put this condition. Besides status, money, and being 6 foot tall or higher, being fit, what do women want from a guy?
I think if you take all the criteria that women look for, whether it's height, looks, money, confidence, his career, I think it all boils down to security. I remember having a conversation with this girl in this very room, actually, before we had the podcast set up. And we were having a very similar discussion. And she kind of cut me off and she's like, Rob, women are looking for security. That's why they want a guy that makes money. That's why they want a guy that's confident. They watch for how a guy carries himself, because at the end of the day, that tells them what they need to know about you. And I really believe what it boils down to. Every woman's different. They all have different flavors that they like. And one woman might only date a certain type of nationality. One woman might only date guys that have beards. Like they all have their own, things that they like. But I think it all boils down to they want to settle down with a man that's going to give them security financially, safety, and a future with a family. That's what I think it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think women also are looking for a man that will respect them. I think a man that will understand their emotional intelligence, a man that will support them, a man that's trustworthy, and a man that's an active listener, among a bunch of other things as well. Because these are things that women really connect to men emotional wise. All the other things are things. But if men are able to check off that checklist, and of course there's more to that, because like I say, you can make chapters of standards that women have of men. You can write books on this and tell stories and all that. But I think you'll open up a woman emotionally if you're able to show that you respect her, show that you trust her, you can communicate with her, you can take charge in a situation where you need to take charge, and being able to maybe share something with her that she didn't know, something personal about you that she didn't know. So there's a bunch of things that can open up a woman, and that women, they not say all the time, but they do want from men.
We've had quite a few female guests on this show at this point, and I noticed a pattern where every single one of them at some point mentioned emotional intelligence. And this is something that in our earlier videos, I used to kind of like brush aside and kind of make fun of, but every single female guest we had on mentioned we want a guy that's emotionally intelligent. Yeah, I remember the last episode we filmed, we were talking about how men and women cheat for different reasons. Men are more likely to kind of like go out, have that one night stand to get that physical part of it because that's what we want, and act like it never happened, right? But when women cheat, it's usually because they're not having their emotional needs met. And I think it's important to understand, like, we've discussed before how like you have to kind of study the opposite sex to understand them. Otherwise, you're just going to go out there blindly and fail every time and not really understand the big picture. Women need that emotional connection the same way that we need that physical connection and that physical attraction.
Oh, it's a must. It's a must. Men needs are different than women's needs. Men need that physical. They need that physical attraction. He needs to be physically attracted to that woman, no matter which shape, way, or form she looks. They need to be attracted to that woman to be able to want to be with that woman. Women, on the other hand, can be with a guy that looks however. But if he can open her up emotionally, even by making her laugh, maybe cracking an icebreaker, some jokes, maybe getting to a point where she tells a story that nobody else knows about, she didn't tell her exes. That's something that once you get that deep with her, then she starts opening up to you, and then she'll start really being attracted to you. I think that's where women, kind of the light bulb goes off, and they're like, okay, this is the guy that I want to give a shot to, give an opportunity to.
I have to say, after listening to all our female guests, shout outs to them again, by the way, I think this is something that men overlook because we don't think about these type of things. Like, to us, it's more like physical, like, is she hot or not? Like, do I get along with her or not?
Yeah, men don't think that deep. Men think more logically. They're like, okay, if she's pretty and she's nice, she's not bitchy, you know what? I'm going to take her out. I'm going to ask her out. Once you try to ask her out, actually, I think that's maybe the second or third thing that comes in. Is she nice? Because, okay, she's attractive, so a guy will go up to her because she's attractive and then try to ask her out. But then if she's not nice, if she's bitchy, if she's, kind of giving him that look that, oh, I don't want to deal with you, then that's something that men kind of are like, screw that. I'll go off to someone else or I'll try somebody else. But see, that's one of those things that turns guys off. That's one of those things that makes men give up. And men should not give up because one woman told them no, because 5 women told them no, because 100 women told them no. Because the more no's they get, it's that much closer to that yes.
Oh, no, 100%. And, you just have to face reality. Like, there's a couple of things that could have went wrong. You might have not just been the right guy for her. She might have not found you attractive. Nowadays, women get the ick for anything. Like, you could have just said or done one thing. So the ick, we've had a few female guests on, and I always try to ask them that question. Like, let's get into the whole ick thing, because explain to me how a 37-year-old woman completely disqualifies a guy because the way he chewed his gum or something. It's it's stupid. But again, you have to understand that you have, in a way, as guys, you have to listen to women and just hear them out to just figure out how they tick, because I'm telling you, they have a completely different thought process than we do.
Yeah, if you don't listen to a woman, she's going to really, forget about it. She's going to not even have a care in the world for you. You have to be able to keep her going, keep her mind going, keep her attention going, because ladies will move on easily. They have another option. They have hundreds of options, some of them that you don't even realize, options that just come out of the woodwork, especially when a woman becomes single. That's one of the the funny things is that when a woman is in a relationship, guys disappear. They don't want to deal with it. They are just going to focus on that guy, and they're not going to worry about the other guys unless they do something silly like try to cheat. But they'll still have options coming in. Not going to lie about that. But they're not going to pay it too much attention. Now, once she becomes single, guys will be flooding in. Once guys find out, they're going to be flooding in. She's going to have all these options. It's easy for women to replace a man, and that's what guys have to understand. It's something where men have to focus and do their best with the few choices that they have, because men have a few choices unless you're this high value man. You're making all this money. You're doing all these things in your life. You're adventurous. You're traveling. You are into so many hobbies, and you can attract a bunch of women because you're that top tier guy. But most men aren't. Most men are average. It's tough for guys, and guys have to really focus on, okay, bear down. Let me see what I can do with this woman. Let me see if I can make it work. If not, okay, try to have some options, because if you don't have options and you screwed up with that one woman, then you got nothing. So that's where I commend guys for continuing to try, for continuing to, try, whether it's in the U.S., in other countries. Don't give up, because, we're human beings. We're meant to be with one another. And, that's, we're animals. That's the natural thing. But men have to understand that they don't have enough options, or are never going to have enough options or as much options as women. They can try. Again, they got to be the top tier guy, but they won't. Women can easily replace them. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, so to speak. It's challenging on both ends, because again, women have all these options, but I mean, these are mostly options to sleep with them, right?
Yep. Another thing that came to mind since you said that, and this is another difference between how we think and how women think. If at any point she feels that you're not her best option and that she can get another guy maybe a couple levels up above you, that she's capable of doing better, she absolutely will. It's just a matter of time. Men, we are more likely to settle. Like if you're dating a girl that's good in bed, you're attracted to her, you'll stay with her for 3, 4, 5 years. You're not going to be like, well, I feel I could do a little better than this. Women are completely different. If they date a guy for 2, 3 years and they're like, I don't know, I'm looking at what my friends are doing, like I'm getting hit on, I'm getting DM'd by more successful men. You don't think she's gonna take that opportunity? She's not gonna maximize on her ability to get somebody better than you, and that's just how it works. That's a part of the reason why social media has made dating so difficult, because they've been opened up to that.
Yeah, again, women have to understand what options they have and figure out that they have to pick the best option, and men have to figure out what options they have and try to pick up the best option, but the best of the few, because they won't have many, unfortunately. It's just the nature of the game, the nature of the beast.
Look, as a guy, to me, I think finding a loyal woman tops the looks any day. I would much rather have a woman that's a 6, a 7, but is loyal, than an 8, 9 that's gonna be absolute hell. That I have to like. That's like a high maintenance type of a person. You can't date somebody like that. God forbid, marry.
Yeah, I don't want a woman that's Bianca Censori going out and selling herself to the world.
Yep.
Because that's a woman that you can't trust. That's a woman that the moment you're doing something, you're not around, she's gonna stab you in the back. The moment you have your back turned, she's gonna stab you in the back, because she's that nasty of a woman. So if she's okay doing it in the public eye, what do you think is going to happen when she's in private?
Oh, yeah. And if you go back and watch any of our episodes where we have female guests, they'll tell you this firsthand in the videos. When women cheat, it's pre-planned. They'll take their time calculating their next move. They know they're going to cheat way before they're going to do it. You know, as guys, we catch a lot of heat like, oh, he's insecure because he thinks I'm going to cheat. No, he can sense it that it's going to happen. Like, we also have that intuition. Like, she's about to do some shit. Like, the way she's acting a little different lately, her energy's off. When women cheat, it's pre-planned. And pretty much, if not all, most of our female guests have admitted to that, like, you know, when they cheat, it's something that they take their time orchestrating. When they're going to do it, with who, is it worth it? You know, they kind of they call that monkey branching, where she's with one guy, but she's tempted to go test the water somewhere else. She might cheat, she might not, but she's definitely going to think about it. And then if she does cheat, she also doesn't want to lose the current boyfriend. You get what I'm saying? That's just how it tends to go.
It was something that was months in the making. It wasn't something that she just decided yesterday. It's something that was planned out, and she was just waiting for the right moment to do it and the right person to do it.
Whenever you watch, you know, YouTube videos or TikToks of a man catching his wife or a girl cheating, the girl always gets like crazy emotional, starts crying. Sometimes they throw shit or, like, you know, they get aggressive, and it's because, you know, they realize at that moment that they screwed up. You know, these women that cheat, they know most of the time that they're with a good guy, but it's that temptation to get something a little more exciting, a little different flavor, some different action that eventually gets them to do it. That gets them to cheat. But they know that they're worth a good guy. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this live, women, when they cheat, it's usually with a good guy. They're not cheating on the guy that's crazy, because they know better than to you know, probably cheat on a guy like that to begin with. But chances are, the bad boy, the crazier guy, gives her enough emotional stimulation. He keeps her mentally occupied enough where she doesn't get bored to go wander off.
Isn't it funny that when a woman gets caught cheating, that she blames the guy?
That's another interesting take. Yeah, when I forget which, I'm not gonna say her name anyway, but one of our guests said that like, she was like, just understand that when a woman cheats on you, it always boils down to it being your fault and what you did. I'm like, wait a minute, how the hell does that make any sense? I'm not saying that something I did didn't cause you to cheat, but you're still the one that cheated. Look, these women need to, like, if you want to cheat, just leave the guy. Just break up. Then it's not cheating. If you break up with the guy and you leave him because you found a more attractive guy, or a guy that makes more money, or whatever the hell reason they even have, then just break up with the guy.
It's funny how she cheats and she blames the guy, like, hey, you are the one that fucked up.
That's girl math for you right there. That's straight girl math. Well, yeah, I cheated, but it's your fault.
And she blames him because he's the one that, quote unquote, caused her to cheat. No, bitch, you cheated. you are the one that went out of your way and cheated. It's easier to break up, or maybe not for many people, because they don't do it. It seems like they just cheat instead of breaking up because they want that fallback. They don't want to lose what they have, but they also want to gain something else. So,
yeah, it's the whole have your cake and eat it too mentality.
And they don't stop. If they don't get caught, they'll keep going.
Why doesn't she break up with the guy before she goes and hooks up with the next guy? Why? Because she wants both. She wants the stability of the good guy, or that relationship, or the guy's there for or whatever he's doing. But the one thing that he isn't doing, that guy is. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
A bigger, or just he's better looking or stronger or whatever. Like,
which maybe he's laying the freaking Stromboli
maybe he's
down,
just laying the pipe good.
And
I would say that's the number one. I would say that is the number one reason why women cheat. We always talk about, like, oh, women want tall guys and rich guys and all this shit. Let's be real. A lot of these women are cheating because they're getting piped better than with the boyfriend.
Of course. I just find it funny that women just don't break up with the guy. They'll cheat. Just break up with the guy and get with that guy. It's, you know, but they want both. They, like you said, they want their cake and they want to eat it too. I think once they break up with the guy and she's single, it's fair game. If she's single, any guy can go for it. I mean, that's what's fair. But you cheating, you're playing with that guy's emotions. You're playing that guy's heartstrings, and you're screwing with him. All the time and energy he's put into you, all the effort he's put into you, thinking that it's going to be some everlasting love or whatever. Because guys focus on women for love, when they're with women. And we got to admit, yeah, we'll get some hate here for this, but
how dare you?
Women will focus on men for what they can get from them, which is what guys have to understand. Which is why we're here late trying to tell the guys out there and wake them up. You kind of want to sometimes shake some guys and be like, yo, wake up, man. Come on, don't get played. Don't get screwed over. Because not all, because you don't want to talk in absolutes, but most of these women are up to no good.
Yep.
A good amount of them.
Look, I'll give you guys another one that I picked up from the female guests. We usually ask, like, well, what are some bad experiences you have had? What's your worst dating experience, right? Women also have hard times dating nowadays. And a lot of the times the answer is, oh, well, I was dating this guy, and then I found out later that he was married. I was dating this guy, and I found out he had a wife and 3 kids. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that, and I'll tell you why. When a woman starts talking to a guy, these women turn into FBI agents, okay? She will stalk every aspect of your life. She will thoroughly research you inside and out. And if there's any women watching this, you let me know if this is true, because I know it is. She will look up your Instagram, who you follow, where you live, who your friends are, what your hobbies are. She will, by the end of that day, she will know everything about you. And I know that for a fact. I find it hard to believe that you started talking to a guy for 2, 3, 4 months, and you had no clue he was married. That's bullshit. The reality is a lot of these women are attracted to married guys because he's pre-selected. They like that competition. They like that wild feeling of like, shit, this married guy's coming to my house. They like that shit. You're not going to sit there and tell me it took you 3, 4 months to find out the guy was married. That is bullshit.
The proof is in the pudding. Like, he's married. You know that this guy has value because he's married, because other women want him. I mean, he's already past the whole dating relationship. Like, the guy's locked down, and women see that. They're like, ooh, I want that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And they get jealous, and then they try to ruin something good that somebody else has.
Naughty. I'm telling you, these women are naughty. They know the guy's married. Yeah. I know that for a fact. And I know some women personally that have hooked up with married guys. It's the excitement. They like that shit because they know the guy's married. The wife's at home sleeping or with the kids or whatever, and he's with her. And they like that competition too because women like a challenge. Okay? They would rather, I mean, the proof is, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. They would rather hook up with a married guy than a good guy or a nice guy.
What blows my mind is that there's single guys out there that have nobody. There's women that go after those married guys or the guys in their relationship or whatever it is. They know about these guys, and some of these guys, maybe a good majority of them, are good guys, not just good guys because they're nice and all that, but they work hard, they go to the gym, they have a good amount of money, some of them, and these women don't even look their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they don't even exist. But they see a guy who's already married or already has a relationship, already has something going on, has kids, has a life already set with someone, and a woman just wants to go in there and screw it up.
I learned from experience, like whenever a woman's telling you a story like that where she's the victim, you have to, like, I'll listen to it, but you always have to take it with a grain of salt because there's always going to be some other side to the story. The whole, like, I was dating a guy for 3 months and I found out he was married and I'm the victim, I don't buy it. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not saying that married guys don't cheat and that married guys don't do this stuff. They do. They absolutely do. I just don't buy the fact that it took her 3 months to find it out. These women will research every aspect of your life, okay? Even before she talks to you, okay? The moment she gets your Instagram, she will study and research every aspect. She'll know your address, where you work, who your friends are, who you follow, what... You have no idea. She'll act like she doesn't know. Like, she'll talk to you like, oh, you work at I didn't know that. No, they research everything.
She'll be like Miss Inspector Gadget.
It's very easy to, like, look people up. I mean, you just need the name, and you could find somebody's address and phone number and everything. So,
yeah. I mean, that's women for you. So, I guess at this point we might as well close up. What do you have to say overall about what's your last statement overall about today's episode?
Well, today, this was a lot of fun. I think today we kind of jumped around a little bit with the topics. We're going to be doing a lot more of these, by the way. What you guys can expect moving forward. So, daily shorts, we'll have our full length 1 to 2 hour podcast with guests. We'll try to aim for one every week to one every 2 weeks. We're scheduling some more guests right now, and I'm currently editing some episodes that we already recorded. But I think, what would you say? I think we'll shoot for like at least one live a week moving forward.
Yeah, I think we'll go live once a week at least.
Yeah,
at the very least, and or we'll have a full episode or both. Yeah, a full episode, a live, or both once a week.
Yep.
And likely we'll get busier. Maybe we'll do it more than once a week. Maybe we'll do 2 or 3. But of course, we're just starting out these lives, getting familiar with how the actual live works, because we've had live premieres, live full videos go on that have been live in that very moment. But us being live and talking to you live and in living color at, I think, almost 4 a.m. Eastern time, 3:30, 4 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And not many podcasts are doing this. Not many. I mean, there's a few out there. I'm not going to name them. We want to join the bandwagon of going live, giving our thoughts right there in the moment, having live guests, because we plan on having guests live. We'll have ladies come on and talk to you guys live. Those will be earlier episodes, likely, 9, 10, 11 o'clock p.m. episodes. But yeah, we're doing it live, guys. So support the channel, guys. I know I ask all the time, and I will continue asking, because this will help us in the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Push us as much as you can, because without you, none of this is possible. And we are looking to bring more good to the table. We have for almost 2 years now. We've been doing this, and we're going to continue. We're pushing hard. We're experimenting with all different kinds of things. We first started out with short clips. Then we went on to the full videos just ourselves, touching on a variety of different topics. We've done reaction videos. Now we transitioned to bringing guests on. Now this is probably our second or third live, because we're again testing out the programs that we have. We anything that we've gotten so far, which hasn't been much yet, but anything that we've gotten so far, which we appreciate, we put back into the studio here and the equipment. We have some equipment here, the computer. So we have all these things that we're using to give you guys quality, full episodes. We're going to have the ladies come on live and give their thoughts. So be on there, support us, and we appreciate it. We're grateful to even have a chance to do this, and we will work hard for you. We are dedicated for you to help you guys. We want to help the men. We want to help the women. We want to bridge the gap. Although there are women right now that, they don't agree with a lot of the things that we say, but hopefully they start looking into more of what we do, watching more of our videos and what we say in our videos with the girls, because we've had more girls on than guys. We've had more ladies on than guys. So if you don't think that we respect women, then you are dead wrong. Because if we didn't respect women and we didn't care about women, we were just all about talking shit to women, we wouldn't have women here. And we, even having them here, we would be disrespecting them, which most of the time, or almost, not just most of the time, almost 99.9% of the time, we're treating our guests like royalty.
Yep.
So
But we've had a great time with every single female guest that's been on the show so far. We've had an absolute blast with them. We usually meet up. We'll talk with them for a good half hour before we film. They almost always stay afterwards. So moving forward, we're going to shoot for a nice, healthy mix of pre-recorded videos and live streams. I'm looking forward to doing more lives, and I'll tell you guys why. When we pre-record, we're kind of limited on how much time we can record because eventually the batteries and the memory runs out. Live streaming, we can interact with the chat. We can go for 2 hours. We can go for 4 hours, 5 hours if we want to. We're not limited in time. But what I'm looking forward to, honestly, is just being able to kind of talk on the whim on live. And I'm looking forward to interacting with the chat. Something Sardania, shout out to him. We're going to have him back on really soon. Well, we're going to set up next. Our live stream setup is completely different than our pre-recorded setup, so we're getting accustomed to this ourselves, but we will have live call-in shows. So that's coming. Sardania will be on the show. We're going to definitely do a live call-in show. He's great. When it comes to game, like he's, I think, one of the best right now. So we'll have a live call-in show with him where you guys could call in and ask him questions. So be on the lookout for that.
yeah, we're very fortunate to have Sardania out on the show. We've had him on a variety of times. He's happy to come on.
Sarvdating.com. Check him out. Awesome.
Happy to be with us. We're very fortunate to have him. I mean, one of the best dating coaches out there that I know.
100%.
So, and
a real dating coach. Like this guy, Sarv Dating, he knows his stuff. Like he's been on the show a handful of times. This guy knows his stuff. There's a lot of like YouTube dating channels where they're just trying to sell you a course for like, to make money on it. This guy knows his stuff.
And don't forget, you have us. So we keep it real. We're only getting better as we do more shows, more episodes in what we've done before. I mean, we have done this for a while ourselves now too. So we're just picking up the pace a little bit more than we originally were. And again, lives, pre-records, you name it. So take advantage of it, guys. Call-ins, definitely, want to see what you guys say in the chat as well. If you have questions, feel free to send those in. Of course, we're not going to be, if it's silly stuff, we're not going to be, focused on the silly stuff in the chat, but because we know a lot of people like to comment some nonsense. But anything that you guys really want to know, really want to find out, put it in, let us know. We're here for you. So with that being said, make sure, again, you guys support us, subscribe to the channel. Means a lot, and it'll push us out in the algorithm. It'll push us up. Hopefully we get, we may not get up to Mr. Beast in numbers of subscribers, but it'd be nice to get up there quite a bit. So subscribe to the channel, guys. Watch us also on Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble, the Podcast Guys _. We're on X, the Podcast Guys 5. I'll go on there, sometimes comment on something, share something, or post one of our clips. And we are on Spotify. So if you're at work and you want to listen to us, our episodes are being uploaded on Spotify as well. So check us out there. And until next time, peace.